access the capital. So again, good afternoon and welcome to Access the Capital. My name is Ruth Jordan. I am the manager with the City of Charleston Office of Minority and Business Enterprise. Our technical support is going to be done by, I like to call her my webinar architect, Christina Art, our project coordinator for Business and Neighborhood Services here at the City of Charleston. In terms of our housekeeping, this presentation is being recorded and slides will be made available after the webinar. Your video and audio is off. However, you will get an opportunity to participate by using our chat box and our Q&A box. So if you have any questions, please use your Q&A box throughout the presentations. We're going to try to answer as many of your questions towards the end, but if there's something burning, we may be able to get it done, get your question in during some of the presentation. But we're going to try to hold all Q&A until the end. Next slide. We have some great opportunities. Like I said earlier, access the capital. One of the major problems with small businesses, and particularly minority-owned businesses, is having opportunities for access to capital. If you're looking for grants, you're in the right place at the right time today. We know that everybody wants grant money. And then we also going to hear about micro lending. Maybe you just need $1,000 just to get that extra piece of equipment. You're going to find out that that's available. And then we're also going to you're also going to hear from Community Works and some special initiatives. So our presenters will be Jerry Jenkins. He is the Business Development Officer for the Klein Fund, followed by Charmaine Wilder from Charleston County MicroBusiness Pandemic Relief Program, and she is the grant administrator. And then finally, we're going to have our presentation from Paul Smith, Director of Lending from Community Works. Let's go to work. But before we have our first presentation, I also want to remind you of some other upcoming events. You don't want to miss this one. Also mark your calendar for Wednesday, May the 18th, the same place at the same time, lunch and learn about minding your business, finding the golden nuggets in your financial statements. So we want you to go to the link that's listed here, www.charleston-sc.gov/small business workshops. Always go to our website. We have great information. All of our upcoming webinars are listed there, even past webinars. And we're about to get started. Again, welcome to Accessing Capital. Let's go to work, Jerry. All right, Jerry, you're on mute. I'm mute.
I'm sorry. Can everyone see my screen?
Okay. There you go.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank Ms. Ruth Jordan and Christina and the City of Charleston just for putting on this awesome program and providing the Klein Fund. I really appreciate it and giving us the opportunity to talk about the Klein Fund. So the Klein Fund.
Jerry, I'm sharing your slides.
Okay, all right. So the Klein Fund, basically the Klein Fund, we consider ourselves as mission lenders. And that mission is to create capital for small businesses and affordable housing developments that cannot secure traditional funding through traditional means. So that means we're not a bank. We partner with banks to help clients through referral sources to help clients that cannot get traditional funding through bank. They can be referred to the Klein Fund, and we can help those clients try to secure funding for their small businesses. And the main goal of the Klein Fund, or one of our main goals of the Klein Fund, basically is to improve economic opportunity and to empower those small business owners who have been left out of the funding or traditional means of receiving funding, and help them to grow their business through job creation. And with that being said, we're statewide, so as we grow, we're looking to move across the state, helping these small businesses. And so when you think of the client fund, you think of a revolving loan fund. What is revolving loan fund? Every dollar that we lend out to a small business, once those loans are repaid, that money goes back out in the community to help other small businesses like yourself. So that's why we are a revolving loan fund. With that being said, we also are a micro loan lender. A micro loan lender allows us through the SBC, through the Small Business Administration, to lend funds for smaller loans. Now, normally the micro loan fund is around 20,000. We lend up to a maximum of 50,000. And of that micro loan fund, I'm proud to say that 48% of all the loans that we lend is from the SBA micro loan program. So that's 48% of all the loans that we lend out is through the SBA micro loan program. And 30% of those loans are $20,000 or less. So that's important to understand. And as we grow, as you can look, we have really grown over the past few years. We now have over 700 loans and over $45 million that we lent out for small businesses. And I'm very happy that if you look at the job creation, which that's what we love to do. We want to help these small businesses create growth. And we've created over 6,000 jobs, over 500 units of affordable housing. And what's very important is that success about repaying loans is 95%. That's pretty high, but that's very intentional. Because once we make a loan, we also have the sources through what we call technical assistance that we help our small business owners. If they need help with accounting through QuickBooks, we have a consultant. We have 6 consultants that can help our small businesses navigate through some of the pits and the valleys and the mountains of owning your own business. We have restaurants that we have consultants in the front of the house and the back of the house. We also have our in-house consultant, which is Charlie O'Brien, who also help our owners learn about different programs that may be coming through that can help them. So this is why our repay rate is so high, because we're very intentional of helping our clients be successful. And I spoke of technical assistance. You can see here, these are some of the assistance that we offer our clients, our owners wants to become funded. And even before, we help our clients try to maneuver through some of the pitfalls, like I said, of owning their own business. We have dedicated over 2,500 hours of small business coaching.
Next, okay.
And as I stated previously, we don't compete with banks. We partner with banks. And these are some of our partners: Wells Fargo, South State Bank, Synovus, First Citizens. These are traditional, and these are many other banks, TD, Bank of America, Ameris. And what we do, we partner with them for referrals, and also we partner with them for capital funding programs. They help us, they give us money to lend out in the community. So we very appreciate the partnerships we have with banks. And these are other programs, SBA, EDA programs that we have also. And just to talk about the USDA, this is a program fund that we recently received that will be helping small businesses in rural areas across the state of South Carolina. And as you look at this, as I stated previously, the client fund really grew a lot during COVID. And a lot of this was because COVID had a lot of people laid off, they weren't working. So the entrepreneurship grew up, that spirit grew up in a lot of lot of our owners who were out of work. So the dollars lent during that period of time, just 15% of all the dollars lent basically happened during that time of period when there were people out of work and looking to start their own businesses. As I stated, we're now statewide. Just over 2 years ago, majority of our funding was happening in Charleston County, in the Charleston area. I'm so happy now to say that we have expanded that. 37% of all the loans now we make are outside of the state, outside of the city and county of Charleston. I work a lot with Paul. You heard Paul later on. Paul Smith is a friend of mine from the community, works in Greenville. Him and I have worked together on different partnerships, sort of SBDC and the SCORE, the Women's Group, as we maneuver across the state of South Carolina to try to help other small businesses. These partnerships become very valuable. And just to give you a quick breakdown of our portfolio, as you can see, everything from consumer services, health, wellness, housing, which is starting to grow, manufacturing, and transportation. That part of our portfolio is really starting to grow as we see that there are more people coming into transportation, as getting trucks, getting box trucks. And we really want to help those businesses. We now have a consultant on staff who can help you if you're trying to get a loan to start your own transportation company in terms of buying a truck or a box truck. Retail, food bev, we have a lot of experience in food bev. We have 2 consultants, like as I stated, front of the house and the back of the house to help those businesses who want to start in the food and bev industry. And our average loan size is right about $56,000. There's no minimum or maximum that we can borrow. Our interest rates and these interest rates based on different programs. It usually start from at 2% up to a max of 11%. There is an application fee of $125 that is non-refundable that we take on every client. This helps to offset pull-in reports. And as I said, referral sources. We have our banks, we have Small Business Development Center, the Women's Center, SCORE, Chamber of Commerce, and also our clients refer different clients to us. How to apply? Very simple. You go to www.clientfund.org, apply, and it's there. Now, one thing I want to say very quickly, every application that we take, there must be proof of a declaration of credit. Now, you may ask, why do we need that? Because as I stated, not to repeat myself, we don't compete with banks, we partner with them. We want to make sure that we're giving you the best rate as possible. If you can get a better rate with a bank, then we want you to go with that bank. If for some reason you can't secure a loan with the bank, then therefore this shows a declaration, and it can be in form of an email from your personal banker or from the bank just stating that they were unable to do the particular loan for whatever reason, and therefore we can take it from there. And as I've been going through this presentation, I hope you had an opportunity to see some of the different businesses that has been alongside there. Everything from fitness to coffee shops. We try to help every business that try to come our way. We try to make sure that our portfolio is very diverse with several different types of businesses.
Jerry, before we go on, you have an initiative with Wells Fargo.
Yes.
Where you can loan as low as $750 to $1,000 to help businesses improve their business credit. Can you share with us that initiative with Wells Fargo that the Client Fund has? Because maybe somebody wants to start increasing and improving their business credit. Tell me about that initiative with Wells Fargo.
Yeah, we'd be happy to tell you, Ruth. Wells Fargo we have a great partnership with Wells Fargo, and we did a program what is called Open for Business. Now, our CEO kind of broke those funds up because we wanted to make sure that we was helping as many people as possible. So one of the programs that Ruth is talking about is a program that was helped started by our consultant, Charlie O'Brien, which is the Next Level Lending Program. This program helps those small businesses who maybe have challenging credit. It may be that for those who are not presently here in terms of citizenship, that they can come to us if we can help with those types of loans. It goes up to a max of the first 2 years is $10,000, is at a rate of 2% for 2 years. And after that one is repaid, then we can lend up to $15,000 at the same rate and term. And we also use this to report it to the business so you can start earning business credit. So this is a way to help you. Now, I must say, you must qualify for this particular program. And one of the qualifications is you have to have challenging credit, because if you don't, we also can do an SBA loan for you also. So it's
And so a lot of times, small businesses just getting started does have challenging credit.
yes.
And so that's why we were so excited about when we heard about this initiative with Wells Fargo to help businesses develop their business credit, and so it starts with these micro lending or micro loans where you can advance your business credit by getting smaller loans, $1,000 and repaying that back. And then that's reported to the credit bureau for your business. And that helps to improve your business credit score. So that's important. And this is because you must have credit challenges. And I know that after COVID and prior to COVID, there were a lot of business owners that had business credits, okay? And one other quick question before we go into the county. Nonprofits, do you have loans available for 501(c)(3)s and nonprofit?
We do not. We don't do loans to nonprofit. What we do, if there's a nonprofit, and part of their nonprofit is that they have a part of it that has a revenue earning service. For instance, I work with a client that has a nonprofit, but a part of their nonprofit is that they earn money by helping individuals become ready to move into the workplace. So they do this training and they charge for this training. Well, a situation like that, we can help them because they have another part of that nonprofit that actually earns revenue. So we can help them with that.
And last question for you, Jerry, before we move to the county. There was a question about, is there a fee to participate with the Klein Fund? Well, there is a $125 application fee.
Right.
That's a one-time $125 application fee. And that is to assist you with pulling your credit and helping with the documentation and supporting it. So there's no ongoing fees like some organizations are charging, correct, Jerry?
Right. We have like I said, application fee, but you said it perfectly, which helps offset those costs. So we're pulling reports and CABR's reports. Now, at the end, if we can fund your loan, there is a 3% origination fee.
Right.
But that comes at the end when we are about to fund the loan. Prior to that, there are no other fees at all.
Exactly. And if for some reason your loan is denied at this time, you don't lose your $125. They will say, not now, maybe 3 months from now, then you come back to reapply, correct, Jerry?
Right, that's right. That 125 is non-refundable, but what we do, we never try to say no. We try to say not now, and we'll give you some homework, some things that you may need to correct. Once you correct those challenges, which we tell you about, then after 6 months or later, if you come back, we will start the process over. We may have to pull your report again, but we won't charge you another application fee.
All right. So again, the Klein Fund contact information is in the chat box. And now we're going to move to Charleston County. I know that everybody has heard about this grant funding. Everybody's looking for grant money, and that's why they have joined us on today. Today, we have our presenter, Mrs. Charmaine Wilder from Charleston County, and she is our grant administrator, and she's going to share this particular opportunity with upcoming grants. And there is a short deadline, y'all, to apply for this grant. Listen closely and let's get ready. Charmaine Wilder of Charleston County.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Charmaine Wilder. I am with Charleston County Housing and Neighborhood Revitalization Department. I am the administrator for the MicroBusiness Pandemic Relief Grant. And I'm going to walk you through all the things that you need to do and your qualifications that would allow you an opportunity to gain access to these funds.
Oh, Charmaine, we're having a little trouble hearing you. Can you speak a little closer to the microphone?
Okay, can you hear me a little better now?
Yeah, I was getting ready to say,
That's
don't
better.
be cute about it, Charmaine. That's,
Thank you.
people are listening to you, they came to hear what you got to say.
Okay. Just want to make sure that everyone can hear me. Testing. Where sounds good?
Yeah, go up just a little bit. Or either turn up
Okay.
your mic.
Okay, so the MicroBusiness Pandemic Relief Program, once again, is through the Housing and Neighborhood Revitalization Department. We are a new department to Charleston County. We have 4 main purposes that we do, and that is policy and planning, grant management, housing programs, and community programs. So a little bit about the MicroBusiness Pandemic Relief Grant. The grant funding is provided by the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. It's a one-time grant to help mom and pop businesses affected by COVID. The goal of the program, the goal of the program is to support neighborhood scale businesses, excuse me, by providing access to capital and facilitating capital building through the injection of federal funds. So just a little bit about who's eligible. Businesses with a primary physical location within Charleston County. But
But
that
it
being
have to
said,
be in Charleston County.
that's correct.
Okay,
That's why I emphasize that you have to have a primary business location in Charleston County, not just do business in Charleston County, but your physical location has to be within Charleston County. This particular grant is for profit businesses that were in operation prior to March 16th, 2019. That is the day that the country shut down. So anybody who was in business prior to the country shutting down due to COVID-19, if you were in business prior to that date, you've met that particular eligibility point. Businesses with fewer than 10 employees, and you have to have an annual revenue under $500,000.
so if you make $501,000, you don't qualify, right?
That is correct.
Okay,
That is correct. Businesses that have not received any previous pandemic relief, such as PPP. So if you've received any previous PPP or pandemic relief assistance, you are not eligible. That's why this business is targeted, this particular grant is targeted toward those smaller businesses, those mom and pop who may not have been eligible or did not receive. That is why it's called a MicroBusiness Pandemic Relief.
that's right.
Businesses,
For those businesses that made $10 million and got all that PPP money, this is for the small businesses.
that is correct. That is absolutely correct.
Mhm.
So the business, one of the other stipulations or things that make you eligible is that the business must remain located in the county and not sell the business for at least 1 year after receiving the grant funds. So if you're thinking about you're in Charleston County and you're thinking about relocating your business to another neighboring county anytime within a year, that's one of the things that will make you ineligible for this particular grant.
Okay.
So what are the requirements? The business must be able to provide documentation that the business income suffered due to COVID-19. The business must have all appropriate business licenses and be in good standing with Charleston County and with the Secretary of State. As of March 16th, 2020, the business did not have any unpaid code enforcement or tax liens, and you will operate and was not operating in a violation of any federal, state, or local laws. So in essence, you need to be in good standing.
So while we're getting to
owner-
that, go ahead.
The owner and or occupant is not currently in bankruptcy and has not filed bankruptcy in the last 12 months. No owner, officer, partner, or principal actor of the business has been convicted of financial mismanagement in the past 3 years. And you have the other point that you need to take into serious note is no conflict of interest that exists with the County of Charleston.
So when you say no conflict of interest, what does that mean?
When you think of conflict of, okay, where you benefit on both ends. You do business with the county and the funds are crossing up.
Okay.
That's an easy way to put it. The funds are crossing over between what type of business you may have with the county and what your business provides.
Okay.
So in order
And before we get into the grant application, do you have to have a storefront or can you be a home-based business?
you have to be a storefront. You have to
So-
have a physical location.
So physical location, so you have to
Yes.
have can it be within a strip mall or you say it has to be actually a physical location?
Physical location. Mhm.
No home-based business?
No, ma'am, no home-based business.
All right. What about a food
Okay.
truck?
What I can do is run through a couple items that would make you ineligible, and that might clear some things up for you.
Okay.
And as I mentioned previously, any business that has already received funding, a business that's an e-commerce business. Another thing that you cannot be involved in to receive this grant is a business that has age-specific goods and services they provide, such as a vaping, liquor store, things of that nature. But because that's age-specific, that would be another thing that would not make you eligible for this grant.
Okay.
You cannot be a franchise business, a national franchise. You can be a local franchise business, but national franchise businesses are not eligible. National chains are not eligible. Anything that's sexually oriented, any sexual oriented business, that's another thing that is not a business that's eligible for this particular grant.
Okay. The
So when
application.
Okay, so where can you find the application? You can find the application on the Charleston County website. If you do me a favor, can you click on that link for me?
Christina?
And I'll walk you through where it is.
Sure, here, I dropped in the chat. I'm just gonna need to,
Click on it. She wants you to pull the application up.
I know I have to share my screen.
Okay. So with that, the application,
Write it down. So complete, and so this is when you have to create that Google account?
yes, ma'am, you need to have a Google account as well in order to fill out this particular application. You can go back, Christina. but you will need to have your Google account in order to fill out the application. For those people, for those smaller businesses, sometimes they're not as tech savvy and there's some things that they're not familiar with, like uploading documents, maybe creating a PDF. We have application assistance at 2 locations right now. One's at Mount Moriah Baptist Church on Rivers Avenue, and there's another location downtown at Morris Brown AME Church. And there is staff there within those 2 organizations that will be able to help you if you need assistance as well. So it's great. We were able to obtain a couple community partners that could help those people who may not be savvy enough, because everyone's not technically savvy, to create some of their documents into a PDF format, or even help them establish an account through Google. And we thank them for that.
Okay, you need to go back.
Christina. Yes, thank you, Christina.
Mhm.
And so you definitely want to go and visit the county's website and go ahead and create that Google account, or
Right.
go visit one of the technical assistance sites. Next
Yeah.
slide, Christina.
So as I previously mentioned, the documents that are going to be needed for this application, and they do need to be in a PDF format because you're going to be uploading them. It's a current business license, your 2019 federal tax return, and a 2020 or 2021 federal tax return, or if you have a CPA prepared financial statement, we are willing to accept that as well. And again, as it was mentioned previously, or at the beginning of this presentation, the deadline for this application is May the 6th, 2022. Those applications need to be in by midnight.
Repeat that. Application deadline is
Is due,
this Friday.
that's correct, this
That's
Friday.
this Friday, May
This
the
Friday.
6th, 2022, by 11:59 p.m.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
Do you take any mail-ins, or is it have to be electronically?
It's electronic,
Okay,
and that is why we established community partners who could help those individuals along who may not, again, like I said, everyone's not tech savvy, everyone may not have a Google account, they may not know how to upload documents or create a PDF. And that is one of the reasons why we established those community partners who were willing to assist those members of the community. Because again, these are mom and pop locations, and some people just may not be tech savvy and may not know how to create those documents. Take those documents and create them into PDF is probably a better way that I should say that. So in regards to the grant amount or the grant awards, I went through the requirements. So the applications must meet the criteria, and you could receive up to $25,000. And that is going to be based on you showing the loss that you incurred during the time frame of the pandemic, of the COVID-19.
so now what if I ask for $30,000 or $50,000? The most I can receive, if I can show that I've lost that, that I can receive up to $25,000. Or I saw on your website about scoring criteria, where I may ask for, what does that mean, scoring criteria? And being able to have a sliding rule.
Okay, so what that means, as I mentioned, you mentioned showing a loss of maybe $30,000, $50,000. This particular grant, it goes up to $25,000. And that's going to be based on, like, if you had a $50,000 loss, your award could possibly be the $25,000. But you have to show in your documentation that you incurred a loss. And we're trying to help you fill that gap of the loss that you incurred due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Wonderful.
But
And
I
so-
want you to keep in mind that this is just our first go round. There may be other opportunities available to you that we will be offering that you may be able to apply for.
There may be other opportunities forthcoming as well. Wonderful.
There may be
Maybe.
other opportunities that businesses are eligible for.
Mhm. Now, before we go to Community Works, because you don't want to miss Community Works with Paul Smith and some special initiative that they have. If you got an EIDL grant or SBA, can you still apply for this loan? Was a question in the chat box or the Q&A box.
This is not a loan, this is a grant.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, can you get this grant if they got EIDL loans or SBA loan in the past?
Our stipulation was or is pandemic relief.
So whether it
Any
was a loan
PPP.
or whether you
It
got
is any PPP.
okay, all right. Good, well, again, Mrs. Wilder's contact information is also in the chat box. We would like you all to please contact her and then look at those other technical assistance resource centers located at, I believe one was Mount Moriah Baptist Church on Rivers Avenue and Morris Brown AME Church, Morris Brown on Morris Street.
Yes, that's correct.
And so those are some local, so again, this is all in Charleston County. It's far north, almost to Goose Creek, and it's far south down here on the peninsula. And so,
No,
again,
it's
you don't want to miss this.
Ravenel, Hollywood, all of Charleston County.
All of Charleston County. So y'all know where Charleston County begins and starts. And remember that deadline, May 6th at midnight. And so if you continue to have questions, please put it in the Q&A box and we'll come back and answer those that we haven't been able to answer. Community Works with Paul Smith. And he's going to share with us some special initiatives that they're doing along with the overall program that they have. So again, welcome, Paul.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having us on here today. Let me get my presentation going. Good morning. My name is Paul Schmidt, and I'm the Director of Lending at Community Works. Although we're located up in Greenville, we, like the Climb Fund, we do work statewide. Most of our clients reside in the upstate, but we have clientele in Greenwood, Columbia, Lexington, Myrtle Beach, and even some in Charleston. And I'm excited to be here with you today to tell you a little bit about Community Works, to tell you about the products that we offer, and to talk to you about an initiative that Cummins has announced as of the last few weeks that I think you'll be interested in hearing about. You can see here my contact information, pschmidt@cwcarolina.org, and there's my phone number. So if you jot that down, if you need anything, and of course it will be in the slide. To tell you a little bit about Community Works, we are building brighter futures for undersourced families and communities across South Carolina. We are a nonprofit ourselves. We're a CDFI, Community Development Financial Institution. And our goal is to build financial equity by providing resources that support small business growth, entrepreneurship, affordable housing, and home ownership. Collectively, our programs, expertise, and partnerships help build stronger and more just communities. And as you can see from here, we have small business and microloans. We have affordable housing and community loans. We also have limited through other organizations, some down payment assistance. And in a partnership with Self-Help Credit Union, we do offer some consumer financing. In our investment areas of affordable housing and community loans, even though today's focus is on microlending, I did want to point this out that you would know, but we do affordable housing loans up to $750,000. And what we try to do is we try to help local developers who are trying to assist with slowing gentrification down, trying to find ways to keep communities as the communities they are. And so our financing is we do acquisition, we do rehab, we do short-term bridge financing, we do construction, preservation. I mean, it goes all over the board. We do, we've done $50,000 loans to rehabilitate a rental house, and we've done, $750,000 loans, to participate in a larger project. But one of our main goals is that we find ways to assist those who are interested in keeping housing affordable. And then also community loans. These are loans up to $250,000. They're short-term bridge loans, working capital. These are for nonprofit and other community organizations. There's not funds for like the acquisition of real estate. However, if you have say you have a community center and you need to do some renovations on the property, we have funds for that. We have put funds into a 4K First Steps program that was started to assist them with some of the equity piece that they needed in addition to the money they received from the state. But that's two areas that we participate in. But the area that we really want to talk about today is microloans and small business loans. We consider microloan loans from $900 to $50,000, and we do support both startups and existing businesses. And I'll talk in a moment about the requirements with startups. And then small business loans are from $50,000 to $250,000. And we're excited to say that we are a community advantage lender, which is a smaller program of the SBA 7A. We've partnered with a loan service provider to assist us in being able to make these larger loans up to $250,000. And we're hoping to close our first loan very soon. It's in underwriting right now. But so you can see that we've got a large range of loans that we offer. And quickly, I wanted to kind of tell you, what our products are. If you go to our website, if you go to communityworkscarolina.org, and there's a link for services and then small business, each one of these will be listed there with the requirements for the loans. And in the interest of time, we're not going to go over what the requirements are for each, but I'll speak in generalities about that. But our credit builder, one of the things that we identified last year and really before, but we implemented last year was when, as Jerry said earlier, when you come to us, it's not a yes or a no. We try to get everything to a yes. And if we can't get it to a yes, we say what we say is not yet. And just like Jerry spoke, we have coaches, we have financial advisors, we have folks who can work with you to help you overcome whatever obstacle it is that you have in front of you that is keeping you from being able to get a yes on the loan. We still want to work with you because we want to get you there. Remember, the end result is access to capital, and we want to get you that access. So we came up with this credit builder program. And what you do is after you meet with the financial advisor, let's just say the reason that we can't make you a loan is because you've got some current credit issues and you don't have a strong credit history that shows that you have the ability to repay a loan. So we have you meet with Idris, our financial advisor. She looks at your budget, determines how much you could afford maybe for a monthly payment, and up to $900, we would do a 12-month loan. That loan, the $900 is kept at Community Works. You don't actually receive the proceeds of the loan, but that money secures your note. And then at the end of the 12 months, after you've successfully made the 12 payments on time and the loan is paid off, then the $900 is given to you. So that's why we call it a secured savings, because we're holding on to the money. But it also is creating in 12 months, you'll have the money back up to $900. But the key to that is that it's going to reflect on your credit report, and that's going to give you 12 months of credit history, positive credit history, so that you increase your chances of getting further financing. With that in mind, we have sort of a graduate program here called Business Capacity, where okay, you still don't quite qualify for $5,000 or $10,000 or $20,000, but you showed us that you can make payments for 12 months. So let's revisit where you are. Let's see what we can do. And let's see if there's a loan between $1,000 and $3,000 that we can help you with. And that's usually over a 24-month period. Then we have our express loan, and these are going from 3,001 to 10,000 and also up to 15,000 for existing borrowers. This is a lot of the bread and butter of what we do. When I came here, my background is in commercial banking, and we didn't entertain $5,000 or $10,000 loans. I don't think, I'm old enough to remember when we entertained $25,000 loans, but in recent years that number has gone to 50 to 100 to 150 to 250. And so the express loan, the reason we call it express loan is because the application process is relatively painless. The amount of information that we require, we do not think is overbearing. And we try to get to an answer as quick as we can so we can get the money back to you. A lot of an example of folks that have used this, and like it surprised me, like I said, when I first came here, is someone who has been a hairdresser, has been working in a salon. They decide to open their own space, and they need $5,000. And with that, $1,000 is the down payment, the security deposit on the space. $2,500 goes into equipment for, shampoo bowls and stations and clippers and things like that. And then the other money can be used for your startup marketing, advertising, things like that. And it is amazing to me what you can do with $5,000. So we expanded the program to $10,000 back earlier this year, in the hopes that we can continue to do that. Of course, things have gone up, right? What you could do with $5,000 2 years ago, you can't do with $5,000 today. But we know that we can help you with up to $10,000. Then above that, we have microbusiness loans from $10,000 to $50,000. Let me say at this point, from the express loan standpoint, really, and when you go to the website, you'll see it, we're looking for your most recent tax return. We're looking for a small, not a full-blown business plan, but a small business summary that tells us, what it is about your business, what you're going to use the money for. And at this point, I do want to talk to you about credit, where I said earlier that maybe we can't quite help you on your credit. We do not have minimum credit scores. And I know a lot of banks do, and a lot of organizations might. And I can promise you that is, we see the credit score, obviously, but we don't make a judgment on that and say, no, that's not going to happen. Since I've been here, we've made several loans of people whose credit scores have not reached 600. And we've turned down other people whose credit scores were maybe a little bit above 600 because of some issues that they have. But remember, a credit report is a snapshot of where you are today. And so, but it also encompasses your past. So what we look for is, just say you come to us and you got a 585 credit score, but every credit, every loan that you have right now, you have paid on for the last 12 to 24 months without missing a payment. You've had no more judgments, no more collection accounts. And so you're saying, okay, 4 years ago, you lost your job and your credit went down. And you have now proven to us that you've recovered. That is a loan that we can try to make. The other side is you could have a 635 credit score and come to us, but you just had, you're past due on 3 credit cards and your car loan. And you may have a collection account from, you decided not to continue to pay AT&T, or you walked away from an apartment without, you didn't break the lease properly, things like that. And if those things have happened in the last 12 months, then that's something that we're going to talk to you about credit builder and things like that to help you get your credit back on track. So we are interested in what's happening now. And we're looking at the last 6, 12, 24, 36 months, depending on the size of the loan. The larger the loan, the greater period that you would need to have with your clean credit. But I can promise you that our lenders are spending a lot of time coming to me and reviewing credit reports and saying, okay, this happened and we understand why it happened. And we will ask you why it happened. We do want an explanation because we want to make sure, but 9 times out of 10, it was a medical emergency. Sometimes it's a divorce and sometimes it's the loss of a job. And then, so on our microbusiness loans, these loans from 10 to 50,000, they require a larger amount of paperwork in order to get them taken care of. Typically, what we're looking for is your last 2 years' tax returns. We're looking for you to give projections on what your business is going to be able to do. And we're also looking for what you're going to use the money for, and making sure that again, that you can repay the loan and that you show a good credit history. For all of these loans, we do something called the global debt service coverage ratio. I know that's a lot of words, but what that says is we take your business income expenses, we take your personal income and expenses, and we combine them, because 90% of you are probably, your business is who you are. And with that, I will state that if you, even if you're an LLC, you're going to personally sign the loans because the business is you. But when we're looking at that, we need to be able to show that you can repay the loan. And we do not, I want to state this clearly, we do not have a product that requires 100% on startup business income or 100% on future projections. So where you are today, going back over the last year, we want to be able to show that if the business doesn't grow, you can still repay the loan. If the business doesn't get off the ground, you can still repay the loan. And that goes both ways. You don't want to borrow $40,000 to start a business, and in 6 months it fails, and now you're stuck owing $40,000. And we don't want that either, because now we have a situation where we may lose $40,000. So the two things we look at, we talked about credit, showing us that you're currently doing what you can. And secondly is the ability to repay the loan. And we'll work closely with you to make sure you understand how all of that works. And then the last thing here would be the small business loans. These are $50,000 to $250,000. We typically are going to try to use this Community Advantage program. It does require more paperwork. It does require more time, but we can walk you through the process and help you see what it is that you need to do.
Paul, I have one quick question.
Yes.
Does the interest rate varies based on a person's credit score?
No. The express loans that we have and the I'm trying to think, the capacity loan, the express loans, those are a fixed rate of about 9.5%. And those loans are from 12 to 36 months. For the micro loans, the rate is typically an 8.5% to 9% fixed rate for up to 5 years. And then the only variable rates would be if we do an SBA Community Advantage loan, those will be variable rates that can be anywhere from prime +3 to prime +6%. So that's a good question.
And one of the unique things is that there are very few lenders that deals with startups and
Right.
nonprofits. So Community Works deals with and provides funding for starting a business as well as nonprofits.
Right.
Because
Now,
that has been the challenge. That has been the challenge for a lot of startup businesses. But again, you still must have your paperwork. And then that's where they will look into making sure what your plans are based on how do you plan to repay this monies back. And so
Right.
the question says, are only Black people eligible for the loan with Community Works? No, any business is available. This funding is available for any business, whether that has nothing to do with Community Works, with their funding programs that you just saw. Any businesses that qualify, correct, Paul?
yes, yeah, and I think what happened is I changed the slide, and I didn't want to try to change it back because I didn't know if I'd get it right or not. But we're getting ready to talk about this Cummins Care product, and
Okay.
they probably saw Black owned there. But yes, we do try to work with minority owned business. We try to work with emphasis on women owned businesses, but there is no limitation from that. Now, with that said, we wanted to talk to you today about this Cummins Care money that's available. We've partnered with Cummins. They have graciously provided the funding to help us with this. if you're located in Dorchester, Berkeley, or Charleston County, and you are a Black-owned business, those are the two requirements, then you can apply for any one of those products I just talked about. There isn't a special Cummins loan product. You can apply for an express loan, microloan, small business loan. And if you qualify, your interest rate is capped at 6%. So that's in lieu of the 8.5% to 9.5% that we talked about before. Now, this would not qualify under the Community Advantage program, obviously, because of the variable rates there, but just everything else, I should back up, everything else short of that, your interest rate is capped at 6% for your loan term, which could be anywhere from 12 to 60 months. And also the application and processing fees are waived. We don't have application fees at this time, but we do have a 3% origination fee, and that fee would be waived at closing. So if you live in these 3 counties and you're looking for a loan, now understand these are not grants. We get so many calls for grants, right? People want grants, and I understand why. But these are loans. But this is a great opportunity for those of you that are in these 3 counties to get a 6% loan with no origination fees. You can see there the details are at communityworkscarolina.org/Cummins, and you're always free to reach out to us, but it goes into a little bit of more detail there. I know we're running quick on time, but real quick, I wanted to talk to you about, as Jerry alluded, coaching and technical assistance. We will provide for you prior to closing, at closing, and quarterly for the first year and beyond, a coach, technical assistant, someone to help you along, to help you understand your checking account, make sure you're not commingling your funds in your checking account and your personal and business, and making sure that you've got the right bookkeeping system and other things. And with our startups, we have a startup program up to $50,000. We have a way, if you qualify, again, you have to have a secondary source of repayment. We can't rely solely on the startup, but if you do, we have funds available possibly to help you set up your accounting and other parts of your business. I do want to give a shout out to the Women's Business Center, an arm of the SBA. We have a Women's Business Center in our building. And they do not deal with just women, although it says Women's Business Center, but they are a great resource to be able to help with, if you're looking at starting a business, talking with them. And if you visit their website, which is communityworkscarolina.org/WBC, you'll find that they have a lot of opportunities and a lot of webinars and whatnot. They're all about education and support. That's all of our follow along stuff. We have a great communications manager, so we are very active on Facebook and other places, including LinkedIn. But I did want to say that, the other thing that I didn't put a slide in here, but a shout out to the small business development centers across the state. They are a great resource for you, and also the chapters of SCORE. So with that said, I think that brings me to the end.
All right, now we have a couple of questions.
Okay.
So again, want to thank all of our presenters. We're almost nearing the end of our lunch and learn, but we do want to answer a few questions if you can. One question that came up, Paul, how many loans can you have at one time?
There's no limit. If you have a loan and you're coming back for another loan, we can always, sometimes we look at combining them if it makes sense, but there's no limit to the number of loans that you can have.
Okay, no limits. All right. And then you did say that this is for nonprofits as well. And
well, let me clarify there. Nonprofits, we have funding for nonprofits for possibly some working capital that they need. And we also have for facilities, upgrades and things like that. But we don't have, like Jerry said before, we don't really have a nonprofit, the nonprofit says, I want to borrow $50,000 for 5 years. It's got to be specific to a program, or it's got to be specific to the real estate that we're looking for. But if you're a nonprofit, like retail location, we would not be able to make a loan. for you. We don't have the ability to do that. And that has to do with where our funding comes from. That's why we're unable to use the funds.
Okay. Jerry, there's a question for you. What is the best way to make the loan application for the Klein Fund?
Yeah, great question. They can actually go to climbfund.org. And if you go to climbfund.org, and first of all, you will see all the great companies we've helped start it. But if you go to the end of that page, you will see a link that says getting started. And once you click that, it brings you up the checklist, which is there, and also the application. And really quick, Ruth, I just want to throw in my hat that the Klein Fund is also specialized, like the community fund, in startups. We do a lot of startups, and we kind of specialize in startup businesses also. So I just want to make that clear.
Do any of you all help with online businesses? Because that's one of the biggest and the fastest growing businesses now is online businesses.
Yes,
Yes.
So there's a yes for the Klein Fund
yes.
For
and
community
a
work.
yes for community work. There's and there's the application for the Klein Fund in the chat box. There's another question for, I believe, for Mrs. Wilder. Do you know whether any other counties other than Charleston County has any grant funding, such as Dorchester County or Berkeley County or nearby neighboring counties have similar grant monies for businesses?
I don't know about any other counties.
And so they may not know, but they may not have grant funding, but we have the COG that has some funds as well. That's the Council of Government, the COG. And you might be able to check with them because they have some monies and they serve the entire regional area, Charleston, Dorchester, and Berkeley. So I'm not sure they have grant funding, but I know they have some special pandemic funds as well. So we are not out of questions, but we are almost out of time. So I do want to bring to your attention about upcoming events. But before I do the upcoming event, I want to thank all of our presenters today, Jerry Jenkins with the Klein Fund, Mrs. Charmaine Wilder with the county, and Paul Smith with Community Works. Please, please, please visit their website for additional information. And our next Lunch and Learn will be Wednesday, May the 18th, same place, same location, and station at 12 p.m. with Minding Your Business, finding the golden nuggets in your financial statements. Our presenter will be Dr. Sonia Santi of Corporate Recycle. And then with her website, for some reason, all of a sudden, people are popping in. And so again, our link is there. Always visit www.charleston-sc.gov, small biz workshops, and get registered for Minding Your Business, financial statements, finding the golden nuggets. So again, I want to thank all of you all for participating in today's event. If you ever need us with the City of Charleston, please feel free to contact our office that's the City of Charleston, Ruth Jordan, manager of the City of Charleston's Office of Minority and Women-Owned Businesses, and Christina Ott, our program coordinator with Business and Neighborhood Services, as well as our resource partners that you've heard from today. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we look forward to seeing you on May the 18th. And goodbye and enjoy the rest of your day. Panelists, please stay on.
Great. For those that are still on, I am recording this. It will be on our YouTube page by the end of today or early tomorrow, and you'll get a follow-up email with the presenter's contact info.
Thank you, Christina.
Let's see.